What's going on YouTube? So today in this video we have a new pair of clippers. We're going to be going ahead and reviewing fully. We're also going to be doing a slight haircut tutorial, so in case you have any questions, I'll be answering some of the most asked questions in previous haircut tutorials. So we got an upgrade. We have the Babyliss FXones here. Previously had, and I'm going to tell you what I like about the new one, what I don't like about the new one, and if it's worth that extra $50 as opposed to the FX. It's basically the same exact design. I know they're going to have an improved version sometime next year. I know they're going to have rubberized texture gripped on the front as well in the future. I know they're going to make a little bit of changes, so I'm going to inform you on what changes they need to make for the next generation clipper. First, we're going to go into the unboxing experience. It looks pretty cool. The outside packaging shows the specifications, which does show the battery life, the performance, and basically little bits of that's really new. The main takeaway on this is the interchangeable batteries that are able to use on all of the trimmer, electric shaver, and the clippers themselves. So you can easily swap between those three devices with just the one battery. Is that good? Is that not? Who knows? We'll find out. You are greeted with the pair of clippers. I do have the gold version here, but they do have a matte black version, which I would have honestly gotten. It wasn't available on Amazon, and you know, Amazon is only one day to arrive, so I decided to go with gold for now. Now, first off, it is way lighter, even with the battery inside. It might be only lighter by a few grams, but I know it's way lighter compared to the original version, which is honestly a game changer because the previous one was heavy, and when I do self cuts, I always have a lot of fatigue afterwards because, you know, you're holding it in an awkward position for an hour straight. This one, out of the first attempt, no fatigue whatsoever. It's nice that they do have those curved off edges, so no corners that are, you know, hard to mess with. It is slightly smaller than the original one as well, which is actually a really good thing. Smaller form factor, but very, very comfortable. We're going to get into one of the negatives. The first negative that I just want to say off the bat is that you cannot use this plugged in at all. There is no USB-C port. There is no traditional plug-in that you can use. It does have it on the base. We do have USB-C, which is new, and I love that. However, you cannot use USB-C on the clippers themselves, or it's not even on the battery itself. It would be nice to have a wired plug-in on the battery or the clippers or both. That way you have options to charge and plug and play as well. Instead, you are stuck completely with the base to charge one battery, which forces you to buy multiple batteries. I know that's why they're doing it. It also forces you to buy more clippers because, you know, each battery is 60 bucks. Might as well spend another $140 or whatever to buy a pair of trimmers, you know, get that full ecosystem going. So they're taking notes from Apple, but you know, this is how it's going to go. Now, it does have 4 bars here on the front, battery charging status, which you just click, and it has up to 4 rings, which is not good. That means that the battery will only last about 2 haircuts before you have to charge it. Not good at all. For self haircuts, that means I just have to plug this in every single time after I finish my haircut. Otherwise, the next time I try to cut my hair, it's probably going to die mid-session, which is not okay, especially like I mentioned before, you cannot use wired. So that's a really big deal breaker for me when it comes to haircuts. But you know, it does cut really, really good. I do notice a huge difference when it comes to the zero gapping as well as the MIM blade. It is a taper blade whenever you know, get it out the box. You can interchange it to a fade blade or a different type of blade that they'll have in the future. But for now, it does come with this MIM blade, which is good for oil reservoirs. It's not a new blade. It's new to Babyliss, but it's not a new type of blade. Wall has it, and a bunch of other companies do have it. So it's just nice that this does have it on the Babyliss though. You do have a little front cap here which can easily reveal to clean the motor and just everything down there, which is nice. It's magnetically snapped into place. Very helpful, very useful for maintenance. The lever on this is really satisfying, really good, very well made when it comes to that lever. Also, the screw itself does match to the actual clipper, which is good because before it didn't match. So that's good that it actually matches with the clippers themselves. I love that the button here is on the back. It's a red button, so you won't miss it out. It is very easy to press, but you can't easily mistakenly press it while you're doing a haircut, which is good. Straight out of the box, these are very close to zero gap, so you don't really have to do any adjustments right out of the box, which is really good. Saves you a little bit of time and less frustration within, you know, zero gapping it. So for the people that don't know how to zero gap, these come pretty much zero gapped out of the box, which is really good. Is this worth it? Is it not? Let's find out. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the haircut here. This is just our traditional way of going. So first we start off with the trimmer. We go about an inch. You can vary on how you want to do this, but typically you want to go about an inch. And then we're gonna go with the clippers fully bare, and you're gonna go all the way, open them up, and start your guideline. We're gonna go in halfway in that, and then we're just gonna attack mainly the bottom line, but we're gonna go halfway into that first guideline. Then we're gonna close it all the way, use the corner of a clipper, and just adjust as we go up. So that's pretty much how the first guideline is gonna be. We're gonna use a 0.5 guard above that. We're gonna fade it with the corners, just a tiny bit, a sliver of height, maybe like a millimeter or 3. You're not gonna go up very high. You're basically blending it in. You're gonna open your 0.5 all the way up, then you're gonna go middle, and then you're gonna go down. So it's from open to closed. That's my method I love to use because whenever you have it open, you're basically setting that possible highest threshold, bring down the notch and you won't mess up. If you're going close to open, you can mess up and it's just gonna push up the fade higher. When you go from open to closed, you don't have to worry about messing up as much because it's, you know, already a set guideline. And if you mess up within that area, you can always just go lower. It's just easier in my opinion. It's a safeguard when it comes to open to close in my opinion. So that's the way I like to go. Then we're going to use the 1 guard. We're going to open it up. Same thing, middle, down. Same thing with the 2 guard, 1.5 guard. And then to even it off to the size of the hair, I use a 3 and a 4 guard. You can also use a clipper over comb as well. So that's pretty much the gist of the haircut, right? I didn't want to make it super complicated, super hard to do. If you wanted to follow that, you can go ahead and do that. It's the method I've been using for about 6 months to almost a year straight now. It works. It does a really good job. And then you obviously just line up yourself, do whatever you need to do. You can style the top of your head how you want, but this is how I do my tapers, but you can use the same formula for any type of haircut fading. So that's how I do my haircuts. While we're doing the back of the hair, I'm going to talk about the performance. So the performance of the clipper when it comes to this, I noticed obviously the guards themselves are a little bit different and harder to get used to in the beginning. I know the 0.5 is definitely one of the ones that are different compared to the first gen. It's kind of it's interesting. It's a little bit thicker, so I know it's not a true 0.5. I would say it's a little bit bigger than a 0.5, unless the other one was shorter. I'm not too sure. I know that this one does cut though, because the other one was not, you weren't able to hear it as much. The 0.5 and the new guards definitely cut really, really well, which is mind-blowing because before I would be having a hard time to listen, because when you're self-cutting, you really need to listen as well as see minimally if you're cutting hair. If you can't hear it, it just gets harder because you have to look, and if you can't really see an area, you don't know if you're cutting. Long story short, whenever you are hair cutting with guards, especially the smaller ones, it gets harder to hear and see. There's nothing wrong with the guards except for one thing. The guards themselves they are harder to put on, so you can't put it on the fly with one hand like the first gen. You kind of have to maneuver it. I'll get better at this at time, and then you just like push up and then push down at the same time. It's kind of hard to explain, but you know what I mean. The guards themselves are definitely higher quality. You do have the metal on the front, and that's pretty much permanently on there. And then you also do have a number for the guard on the inside in case the outside happens to go out. The inside will always remain as well. So that's really cool. The first gen actually was just a sticker, so they really cheaped out in that first gen. This time they made the guards way, way better when it came to that. I don't know if they're better than wall. I know wall guards are probably one of the most popular guards that you can get. A lot of people love them, especially the magnetic ones, I believe. But these guards are actually really good for the money, for sure. When it comes to the haircut, it cleans really good. There is one slight downside when it comes to noise. I believe the battery itself does make noise whenever you tilt it a certain way. The clipper itself is actually way quieter than the previous generation. It doesn't get hotter, and I'm all for that. And it's actually supposed to be powerful, more powerful than the first generation as well. 2.5 hours is the maximum output that you can use on this battery, and that's assuming it's on this clipper. You can interchange it with the trimmer as well as the shaver, but I think those time limits vary. But the maximum hours you can put on it is 2.5 hours, which is about 2 haircuts roughly. Nevertheless, there is definitely a lot of room for improvement, but for the very first generation of the new FX1, I'm liking it so far. We'll see how it goes over time. I will do an updated video within 3 months, 6 months, and you will see a new haircut tutorial on my channel later this month as well. Without further ado, guys, will you be buying this new FX1? Without further ado, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. We out.